key was not attached to me. You know, so when we were around trying to get back in the boat, the sun was falling when it kind of dropped off. It was a magnet key, you know, for the electric motor.
So you guys were swimming? Yeah, because you guys have the torpedo.
No. Yeah, we have a torpedo. We have equivalent. We have a 3-horse electric. It's a different model, but
okay.
You know. But we used to wear these life jackets we had these other ones all the time. I can't explain nothing to us, you know. I threw the dinghy out last, or the anchor out last instead of first, because the dinghy was all tangled up.
A woman disappears in the Bahamas. No body has been recovered. No one else is known to have witnessed what happened. And the only account of those final moments comes from the man who was with her. But then a private phone call surfaced. A conversation between Brian Hooker and close friends that quickly became one of the most discussed developments in the case. In that call, Brian reportedly described a series of mistakes, rough weather, and a desperate struggle on the water. Yet some observers believe parts of that conversation raised questions when compared with other public accounts of the incident. Was it simply the imperfect memory of a traumatic event? Or could the differences point to something more? Tonight on True Crime Nabuma, we examine the disappearance of Lynette Hooker, the latest investigation updates, and the phone call that continues to generate debate. Before we begin, subscribe to True Crime Nabuma and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest investigations, missing person cases, and true crime documentaries. If you appreciate fact-based coverage that separates evidence from speculation, hit the like button and share this video. Now let's get into the case. According to media reports, the call took place between Brian Hooker and several friends and acquaintances in the days after Lynette disappeared. The conversation was reportedly recorded and later became public. The people on the call were not investigators. Instead, they were individuals Brian knew personally and trusted enough to speak with about the tragedy. During the conversation, Brian reportedly walked through his version of events and attempted to explain what happened on the night Lynette vanished. The call would later attract significant attention because it contained one of the most detailed descriptions Brian gave shortly after the disappearance. According to reports about the recording, Brian described the incident as a cascade of failures. He reportedly said that worsening weather conditions played a major role in what happened. He discussed being out on the water at night. He reportedly acknowledged that life jackets were not being worn. He also allegedly described difficulties operating the dinghy after Lynette entered the water. One detail that received particular attention involved the dinghy keys. Brian reportedly stated that the keys were with Lynette when she went into the water. Without them, he claimed he could not use the motor and instead had to paddle. He also reportedly said that he threw flotation equipment toward Lynette in an attempt to help her. Throughout the call, Brian maintained that Lynette's disappearance was the result of a tragic accident. As news of the recording spread, investigators, journalists, and members of the public began examining the details. Some observers believed certain portions of the call appeared different from other descriptions that had been reported publicly. For example, media reports noted that some listeners interpreted parts of the conversation as suggesting Brian may have entered the water at some point during the incident. Others questioned whether all timelines and details matched previous accounts. However, no public finding has established that Brian intentionally provided false information. Investigators have continued reviewing evidence, statements, and electronic data as part of the ongoing inquiry. Brian has consistently denied wrongdoing and maintained that Lynette's disappearance was an accident. That distinction is important because the investigation remains active and many questions remain unanswered. Months after Lynette vanished, investigators continue examining evidence connected to the case. Authorities have reportedly reviewed vessel data, timelines, and other information in an effort to reconstruct exactly what happened that night. The phone call remains a significant point of public interest because it provides insight into how Brian described events shortly after the disappearance. But despite extensive scrutiny, the central mystery remains unsolved. Where's Lynette Hooker? And what exactly happened during her final moments on the water? Until investigators provide more answers, those questions remain at the heart of this case. If you have thoughts about this investigation, share them respectfully in the comments below. And if you want more updates on major true crime cases from around the world, subscribe to True Crime Nabuma and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching.